Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to yet another video on my channel. And today we are going to look inside the box on Border Models' brand new Panzer IV aus F2 and G, a 2-in-1 that just recently got released. I got it's the first batch that I got one off, and I thought, why not do a review first, looking at the parts inside the box and then looking at the finished model and show you guys what this thing is all about and if it's worth it to buy this. Of course, there are so many Panzer IVs on the market right now, and Border Models has already produced a very good G version that I've shown you guys. So now I'm interested in seeing what this F2 or early G version has to offer in comparison. Well, first off, some of you might have noticed that the swastika on the palm tree emblem here for the German Africa Corps has been blackened. Yes, I am living in Germany, so we cannot have this. Let's take a quick look at the side of the box. Here we have the Panzer IV G variant you can build, and we have the Panzer IV F2 variant that you can build. The biggest and most catching difference being the muzzle brake. The F2 had this very neat looking roundish muzzle brake, whereas the G had the, well, more standard looking muzzle brake. Again, here we have the side of the box, and the kit number is BT004, and we have 6 marking options. One for an F2 here, Panzer Regiment 36, one for a G, Leibstandard, again a G in Tunisia, and another F2, and then we have the F2 in Africa, and a G in Russia. The color callouts are produced by MIG, Ammo by MIG, and of course that's why they present their color callouts. So that's that. So without further ado, let me open the box and let's take a closer look at the contents. Let us start out with the instruction sheet, and again we get the neat piece of box art on the cover of the instructions, as well as the part callouts. We have two frets of photo etch, which is always a nice thing to have. We have a big decal sheet. We have this sprue is in there twice, but the one thing that bothers me a little bit is the fact that you cannot see the numbers on this part callout, but I don't think that's a big issue. Again, what I really love is this. You get some in-action shots of the vehicle in question. This is a G. Here we have an F2. This is an F2, and this is another G. So you can actually draw some inspiration from these pictures, and maybe you want to then model your project after one of those pictures. And we have a bit of write-up in English here and some in Chinese on when the F2 or G was produced and why, as a response to the T-34. We first build up some special optional parts, which is some buckets and spare road wheels with no rubber on them, and 2 jerry cans and a couple of T-34 tracks. If you build an F2 in Africa, you will not be building up T-34 tracks, I can already tell you that. We have differing assemblies for the air intake covers. We have photo etch parts and we have plastic parts, and they say you use the PE parts when you want to have it closed and you use the plastic parts when you want to have it open. So for the desert vehicle, I would probably build them closed because they did not want to have dust come in there. For the normal part, like, I would always have them open, especially if it's cold outside. Leave them open so you can like cool down your engine, otherwise it would just get warm and sandy. the thing that I think is interesting with those border models, Panzer Force, and I talked about this in my G review or after action report, is the fact that the hull top basically already carries these side panels here, and you don't have to build them up individually. It's interesting. Building up the road wheels, the sprocket housing, the bogies. I really love the fact that whenever you have some optional parts for either the F2 or the G, they tell you with one of these red brackets around it, and then just call out the version or the model of the tank that you want to build. So that's really nice. I really like that. You'll see that more here, for example. For the F2, you need to have it. For the G, you need to cut it. Same here. For the G, you need to install the no-tack headlights. For the F2, you do not need to install the no-tack headlights. Just a nice touch. The G comes with the add-on spaced armor, whereas the F2 does not. And I need to hurry a bit because my camera is going to die. Then we close up the hull. Just normal build-up, building up the turret, putting everything together, and then let's quickly go over the color callouts. You can see they're nice and colored. F2 in Tunisia, F2 I think also in Africa, because this camo scheme, gray with green, looks Africa-ish for me. This looks also like an Africa version, yeah, dark yellow with green. Then we have another one in Russia. You got to be careful, just look at the callouts and look at the muzzle brake, then you know which version of the tank you have to build depending on which color callout you want to use. And then on the back we have two nice cat drawings, again displaying the different muzzle brakes. So let us now look at the parts within this kit. First off, we have this small back with just additional things like decals, metal pieces, and let's quickly take them out here so I can show you what we got. Let's start with this. This is a piece of copper wire, and Dragon, take a look at this please. This is how proper towing cables should look, because you can actually use these and you can mend these and you can do this with them, not like with yours. I really like the fact that it's copper wire, because copper wire really makes it easier to put them in the position and in the shape and form that you really want them to be in. The first batch of these also came with a nice metal barrel. I cannot say if this is proper length, but I guess it will be. And I think you can use this for, I don't know, probably only the F2, and I have to check, because I think the caliber length on the two guns, not entirely sure if it's the same, but I think there's a small difference in the guns, except for the muzzle brake, but don't shoot me if it's not. It's a nice add-on, and I think that the first batch won't be sold out for quite a while. So if you buy it within a couple of months, I think you should also have the metal barrel. Then here we have the PE fret with the air intake covers, bucket handles, spare track racks, or the things that hold the spare tracks on the glasses, and the target finder here for the commander's cupola. And we have a small PE fret, very, very small. As you can see, like almost the size of my fingernail here. This contains parts for the ladder, the mounting ladder on the side of the vehicle, I think. Yeah, and then some small miscellaneous parts that I cannot tell you where exactly they go. Not tool clamps, that's for sure. We have two decal sheets. This one is for a special version in Kharkov 1943 Leibstandarte. If you remember, those really look similar to the ones that I used on the G that I built earlier. And we have the big decal sheet. And I was very surprised that we get the Africa Corps palm trees on this. The swastikas are not complete. They are missing one line. That's why they probably could leave them on, because it's not a proper swastika. Otherwise, in Germany, this would be cut out, or there would be black stickers on top that you cannot remove without destroying the decal. So overall, I really like the quality of these. Not too thick. The carrier film is, except for these three here, very nicely done. These three, for some weird reason, have a square of carrier film around them. I don't know if you can see this. But overall, nice and shiny. Look to be in scale. Not off-center on the crosses, on the Balkenkreuze. So, yeah, nice looking piece of decals here. So let's move on to the plastic, shall we? So first off, or first up, is the tub. I actually had this pun lined up and then I messed it up. So we have the hull tub first. A solid block. Like I said, I think it's interesting that they already have these pre-molded on, similar to this. Takes away some construction, but overall I think this makes it a bit more sturdy, and they are properly aligned, and you cannot mess up the construction of the top here. Let me move this in so you can see the nice bolt detail underneath and on the side. Some nice weld seams around the bogey mounts. Overall, some very nice detail. Same goes for here. Nice weld seam down here for the two armor plates. Overall, nice looking hull tub. So on to the next part. Next up, we've got the main body of the turret. And in contrast to, for example, Dragon, which would also include this part here, this is missing the front of the turret here with the vision ports, which again then gives you more assembly than a Dragon turret would give you. On the inside again you have the molding number here for border models. This was obviously produced, the mold, in 2019. The turret inside is bare, there's no detail whatsoever. So I would advise you to either upgrade the interior with spare parts or just leave all the hatches closed. We have one small imperfection up top. This is the point where this was molded. This is the sprue gate basically for the turret. You need to clean this off and clean it up, because this looks like a third hole here, but there are also only supposed to be two. Other than that, some very nice detail. I hope you can see this. It does have some texture, not too much texture here. Look, nice detail on top. All right, next up, we have the H sprue. And let me zoom out a bit so you can see this sprue in its entirety. Move this to the side here. This part is the H sprue, this part is the G sprue. This contains the road wheels and the tracks. This is in the kit twice. I'm only going to show you one of them because they are identical. We have Lincoln length tracks. I struggled a bit with them when I built the G, but now I think I have a hang of them, so I won't be struggling as much as I did back then. The level of detail on this sprue is immaculate. There's no flash, no burring, very little mold release when you go over them, so you don't have to, hopefully, no, you don't have to wash these before you can use them. Some people like to wash their models in soapy water. One thing I also want to mention, all of the sprues are delivered to you in resealable individual bags, except for, of course, the sprues that are in there twice. They are in there together, but they have resealable bags, and I really love the fact that they do that like this, because this both protect your sprues as well as allow you to put them back in there after you do a review like this, and then can reseal them. And then you know that your model is safe in there. Next up, we have the F sprue, and the F sprue contains the idlers, even more road wheels, the spare Russian T-34 tracks, the bogies, the bogie mounts, idler tension, an idler mount, spare Panzer 4 tracks, jerry cans, part for the hatch on the turret, access hatches for the gearbox. Those are the parts, and then of course some miscellaneous parts like hooks and stuff like this. Overall, again, quality is immaculate. We have a nice bucket that has been slight molded. Overall, very nice. This also is in the kit twice. Next up, the K sprue. The K sprue contains the turret bottom, the front plate, a gun barrel, a plastic gun barrel, a one-piece barrel, also slight molded. So yes, you get the metal barrel, but you could also use the one-piece plastic barrel if you want to, if you do not get one of the first batch. It's a one-piece barrel. Not a problem at all. Of course, you have to remove some seam line, but it's not that hard, and it's not as bad as if you had to glue together two pieces. We have the hatches for the turret and some parts for the interior gun assembly. And this is the G muzzle brake. This is not the F2 muzzle brake that comes with this right here. This is the G muzzle brake. That's the K sprue. Next up, we have the C sprue. And the C sprue, as it looks like, has the muzzle brake for the F2, another muzzle, another gun barrel. So you get two solid plastic gun barrels. Some tools here, the jack block, the wire cutters, the barrel cleaning rod, the ass hooks, shovel, antenna, more ass hooks, inertial starter, backplate, spatial armor, front glasses, and the back of the tank. So also very important sprue, and again, the level of detail on this is immaculate. Let me just show you the jack block here. You can see some nice wood grain texture, and the strap buckle is also very, very nice. There you can see this. So that's the C sprue, only in there once because you only need it once. Next up, we have the D sprue, which has the turret basket, the ring outside of the turret, which I have not yet figured out why this is there. This is the plastic version of the air intake covers, which you should also only use if you have them open. We have some spatial armor that we only need for the G version. And that's basically it on the D sprue. Please fill me up and fill me in the comments section if you know what the ring around the turret is for. Is this a rangefinder for the commander? I don't know. We have the other parts of the turret here on the end sprue. We have the cupola. We have a third gun barrel. This time it's a short gun barrel for the F version, which is not in this kit, but you probably could also build from this model, like the F1. And this you need for that. You have parts for the smoke mine launchers here, which only go on the F2 and not on the G, and even more spatial armor. And then some self-defense covers and some headlights. And another muzzle brake. So many muzzle brakes. Next up, we have the J sprue, and this contains the muffler, the mud flaps, even more tools, this time without tool clamps, fire extinguisher, more spare tracks, some miscellaneous parts like, for example, the inertial starter access point here, the jack, a machine gun, nicely slide molded with an open muzzle. So yeah, very nicely done. The quality of the plastic is immaculate. I cannot say one bad word about the quality of the plastic. We have the P sprue, which again contains parts for a cupola, as well as vision blocks, more parts for the turret side, front armor plate of the upper chassis, and another turret basket, so you have to be careful which turret basket to use. Overall, like I said, the quality, immaculate. For a young company like Border Models, the plastic quality that they can present you with is out of this world. The E sprue, again, contains a part for the front armor plate and the upper hull tub. Not upper hull tub, but the engine deck and top of the tank here, with the nice hatch detail there around the hatches, and of course nice engine deck detail. Even a nice weld seam back here. And then we have only two more things to show. We have the L sprue, which contains the fenders, and if I move them in, you can see the nice anti-slip texture as well as the nice detail on these fenders. Very, very nice. Very nice. Again, here on the sides, you also have some nice detail. And now, last but not least, we have the antenna rack. The wooden structure that would go on the back of the tank that you can fold the antenna into. There you go. The antenna part. And that's all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. That's all that's in there. And before I built this, let me quickly sum up what I think of this kit before I build it. I think, for the price that I paid, around 40 euros, this is a lot better than what you get from Dragon nowadays. A lot better. The plastic is on par with the quality. The instructions are a lot clearer. You don't get too many parts that you don't need, like with Dragon kits where they always are crowded. Of course, some people like the fact that they give you like 20 sprues that you only use like 2 parts off each. But overall, I think this is a much easier to build kit than a Dragon kit because of the simplicity of it, basically. And I like the big decal sheet. I like the colored paint callouts in comparison to the black and white ones that you get in Dragon. Of course, if you don't like ammo paints, you will have to kind of do the conversion from ammo to other paint ranges, because they only give you the ammo ones, but it's not a big problem, I think. And overall, I would give this, before I build it, a solid 10 out of 10. This is a very, very nice kit. The metal barrel even upgrades it more in the first batch. So, 2 thumbs up. I really love it so far. Let's see, once I built this up, if this actually stays true to what its promise is when you only look inside the box. You can expect this video of it having been built soon. I will not make promises as to when, but soon. I have so many unpainted yet built models sitting around that I probably have to tackle 1 or 2 of them first and finish 1 or 2 of them first before I can start another one. But it should follow soon. So this was basically only the in-box review. What do you get for your money? Is it worth it to buy? So next time around you can see the built-up version, and then you can see if you want to go out and get one yourself. But so far I'm very impressed. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Hollywood Modeling. I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you haven't yet, subscribe, leave a like. Would help out a lot. I'll see you guys soon. May the force be with you. Bye. for now.